You can't go wrong with it. My wife really likes that.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. Yes, I said I was taking a break, but I just wanted to make a video today because so many people are expressing concern, wondering how I'm doing. They're worried. I kind of just left it open, like I'm taking a break because of my health, and some people are just wondering what's up. So I just want to give you a brief update about me and then a brief update about the organization, because there's a lot of very interesting things in the news that I wanted to talk about. So okay, first we'll get me out of the way. Yes, I'm taking a break because I have some problems with my walking. I have multiple sclerosis, as some of you may know. And it's difficult. It's been difficult with my walking. It's been getting harder for me. I went to this rehabilitation hospital in my area, and they had these orthotics made for me. So this is my leg and my foot. And this, I don't know what I'm going to think about this, but the point of this is so that I can straighten up my ankles, because they're kind of getting weak and my walking is being affected, and I don't want to keep walking this way. So this is supposed to really hold my ankle in, and you wear this under your pants. So I'll be at least wearing this around the house and to train my ankles to stay the way they are, and then I will try to strengthen them through my exercises, and hopefully it will really help. That's the point of that. I've had other health problems too, like I had breast cancer a few years back. That was a major bummer, of course. I never thought I could get it because, I see my kitty cat there. I never thought I could get it because with MS, they say it's an overactive immune system. And I never thought I'd get cancer as a result of that, but I did. I somehow managed it. And it is very rare to get cancer and have MS at the same time, but somehow I managed to pull it off. But anyways, I'm working on everything. I hope to be better soon. And I was also trying to just take a break from Watchtower, from everything Watchtower. I was involved with the organization for 30 years, and sometimes you just need a break from it all. But I'm having a hard time taking a break. I think because I really like the people I've met outside the organization. In my opinion, Jehovah's Witnesses are really good people. And I love many of them dearly. I still do. But ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are even better. They're even better for many reasons. First of all, it's been a huge shock to me to see that ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are such great people, because they've been so badly maligned by the organization. So it was really nice to see how great they really are. I find that they don't have any phoniness to them that a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses have. The idea that there's always a hidden agenda. I'll be nice to you because I get to count my time, because you're sick and now I can visit you and count my time. They're not there out of the goodness of their heart necessarily. There's a hidden agenda that I don't like. And the phoniness of, we always have to be happy even though we're feeling down. Well, that's not being true to yourself. If you are feeling down, you should be able to say, you know what, I'm having a bad day. What's wrong with that? Everybody has a bad day. That's normal. What's not normal is putting on a fake painted on smile and being somebody who you're not, or trying to live up to something that you can never be. And so I find ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are more genuine. And of course, the main thing is that their love and their kindness is not conditional. I could be an atheist. I could say tomorrow, you know what, maybe I want to venture into Judaism or venture into homosexuality. What if I want to do something different? I will still have my friends. They will still love me. They may not think it's a great idea for me to do that, but they're not just going to say, oh, that's it. We're now going to cut you off because you're doing this or that. So I love that about the ex-JW community, and that's why I felt I owed it to you to give you a bit of a background of what's going on in my life, so that you aren't worried. And I'm okay. I'm struggling. I'm not going to lie, but it's all manageable, and that's all you can do, really. And you know what? Everyone has problems. That's why I never like to focus on my problems, because although my problems are more visible to people, everybody has problems. And my problems are unique, but they're not any worse than maybe what you have. So we're all in this together, right? We're all suffering and struggling and doing our best, and that's All there is to say about that. So I wanted to talk about, I'm just going to get it up on the screen here. One thing that was really interesting that I really was happy to hear was this bill that was passed in California. And it was about how everybody has to alert the authorities if they find out about child abuse or child neglect. And this includes clergy, the clergy class. I know that the organization has been trying to hide behind clergy class privilege. And clergy people, whatever, were mandated to report before, but there was a clause that if it was under penitential circumstances, that they didn't actually have to. Here's a short clip from the California bill presentation.
Go ahead.
SB 360 requires clergy to report suspected child abuse or neglect, even if they acquire the knowledge or suspicion during a penitential communication. Clergy are already mandated child abuse and neglect reporters in California. This bill would level the playing field by holding them to the same standard as the other 45 mandated reporters listed in statute. As mandated child abuse and neglect reporters, doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, and others have to break client privilege and report suspected child abuse and neglect without exception. But under existing law, clergy can lawfully ignore suspected child abuse and neglect if they acquire the knowledge during a conversation that is intended to be confidential. Child abuse is clearly still a pressing issue in faith institutions. California would not be trailblazing with this measure. Connecticut, Indiana, Mississippi, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, Tennessee, Texas, and West Virginia already have similar statutes. They operate under the same Constitution and the same Bill of Rights that we do, and we have found no legal challenges to these statutes in those states. It is time for California to put children first.
I'm really hoping that this kind of a law will help the organization to realize that we have a problem, we need to report, no excuses, just go to the authorities, get it all out in the open and done with. So I was very happy to hear about that. Another piece of news happened in Sweden, which was really, really a very small case, but it was a victory for having, how do I even explain this? The organization, for anyone especially who's grown up in it, like me, has been subjected to a lot of very violent pictures. I mean, I'm not 20, so I grew up in an era where we had the Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained book. And I remember sitting through meetings that I didn't understand, but I was given this book to look at while the meeting was happening. And some of the pictures really bothered me. I was quite frightened by some of them. And even video games and movies, they'll have like a little, caution or warning, or, that this is not intended for people under the age of 15 or 17 or 18. It's restricted. And there's a way to present things that are age appropriate for children. Like, for example, I was given a Bible story book for my little boy when he was born. And it really is sugar-coated. I mean, it doesn't show the picture of King Solomon about to slice a baby in half, or some of the frightening depictions that you see in the JW.org, my book of Bible horrors, Bible stories. It's age appropriate, and the stories are much nicer. They're presented with the same information, but it leaves out some of the gore and some of the horrors that are going to frighten a child, especially when you're putting them to bed at night. You want them to be relaxed, not lying there like I used to lie there when I was in bed. I remember I'd take my Raggedy Ann doll and I'd put her around me so that she kind of looked like another person, and I was hoping that if somebody was to come and try to kill me, like stab me or shoot me, that they would shoot her. That's the way I was raised, to believe that there's so many horrors out there in the world. And yes, there are, but do children need to be aware of all these things? I think you need to be able to tell them about, or warn them, without giving all the gore and all the detail. So what happened in Sweden is that they were warned. They had this new law come in that you couldn't just show in a public gathering just anything you wanted. And if you were going to do this, there had to be some kind of warning that, for children that who were present, that this is not appropriate for them. And JW.org ignored this new law, and they showed on the screen some of their horrors. And this is what they showed to everybody. And of course, the government didn't like this. That it was not. They felt this was not age appropriate, and they lost a court case, and they sued them for what amounted to 43,000 Swedish dollars, which is the equivalent of about 4,000 euros or just over 5,000 US dollars. Here's a protest of XJWs outside the courthouse in Sweden. So this is what's going on there. And I'm just going to show you a clip from a video of an ex-Jehovah's Witness who is in Sweden, who has been fighting for this. It's very interesting what he has to say.
We won. The poor schmuck that was the Watchtower representative, the guy who wrote that he's in charge of this convention, he was fined 40,000 Swedish kronor. That's about 4,000 euro. And I'm quite sure Watchtower won't write him a check, so he's going to pay that himself, I believe. And obviously they will appeal this. But this is a huge deal. It sounds like a really, really small thing, but it's a huge deal because Watchtower, every time in court, when we want to hold them liable for anything, they always lie and claim neglect. They say that we never heard about the two-witness rule. I never heard about shunning. I never heard about child abuse. Maybe something far away a long time ago. Mental abuse, dooms. No, we never heard about this. But now we have a court case. A court case that links together Watchtower representative committing a crime against the law that protects children from mental abuse, aka doomsday propaganda, all this stuff. So from now on, from this date forward, the governing body cannot claim ignorance. And this means the Kennisconta of the future can sue Watchtower for mental abuse, and when they claim ignorance, we can claim negligence and intent. So this is a really, really small and obscure trial, but we managed to get an enormous amount of media attention, also from Norway. The most famous Norwegian investigative journalists came to Sweden. It's a big deal. We have been lobbying and working, and I'm so tired, and I must share this with something.
So now we'll have to watch and see if the organization behaves differently. I love what was said in this video, that now they're warned. Now they know they've lost a case here. They cannot plead ignorance, that they simply didn't know about this or that. It's all on record now. So we'll see if the organization behaves differently. I really hope so. People like me are not trying to bring the organization down, because as has been the case with anything, like let's say violent gangs. When you bring down one gang, sometimes you end up with a worse one to take their place. So the answer is not to bring down the organization. It's to help them to stop their harmful policies. That's my goal. And another thing I wanted to talk about is what's happening in Belgium. So we've got a group of ex-witnesses and people who have come together in the Netherlands that have called themselves Reclaimed Voices. And they have really helped to make a stand for people who've been abused within the organization, where nothing was done about it. And they have gone to the government, and they want the government to take action and to do something about this, to help people who have been abused be compensated for the horrors that have happened in their life. And the main thing they're looking for is to show the organization that what they do is wrong, expose them for what they're doing, and help them to not create further victims. There's nothing like having gone through something that ruined your life and then knowing that nothing's being done about it, and more people are having this happen to them as well. It just continues the horror for these people. So they're trying to make a difference in the Netherlands, and now they've opened an office in Belgium. And within a very short time, 70 victims of abuse have already come forward. And I'm sure there will be many, many more that will come forward as well, showing that this organization has a serious problem. It's still going on today, and we want it to stop. And I really hope to see Reclaim Voices take over the world, to get offices all over the world, because so many people are suffering from the abuses that these religions cause. And the last thing, I'm saving the best for last, has to do with Toni Morris. And I have mixed feelings about this, because part of me, I'm a human being, right? We feel sorry for people when you see people do things that you know is detrimental to them. But there's the other part of me that feels like when a person is guilty of harming other people or making other people feel bad, then the mercy feeling kind of goes away a little. I don't feel quite so merciful. Just like the Bible shows, where it says that with the measuring line that you are measuring out, you will be measured out in return. How you judge others is how you're going to be judged. So here you've got this guy telling people that tight pants are bad and shaming them and, just going on about things that are seemingly ridiculous and making people feel bad about these kinds of things. Telling kids that, if they don't get baptized, take their driver's license away from them. And just idiotic things that he has said that we're all very aware of, because it's been in my videos, and many other activists have been showing these kinds of videos that he's said as well. So it's hard to feel sorry for him when he does that to other people, is all I'm saying. And I'm just putting the video up behind me so you can see what happened. And if you don't already know, what happened was Toni Morris at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning went 25 minutes out of his way, passing other liquor stores in the process, to get to this particular liquor store so he could buy 12 bottles of very expensive scotch. And when I say, this is top shelf scotch, it retails for around $100 a bottle. And it just seems weird. And you could say, well, there's nothing wrong with alcohol. There's nothing wrong with what he did. And it's true, there is nothing wrong with what he did. But what the heck? What is your opinion? I'd love to hear. What is your opinion of this? To me, it just seems weird. My opinion is that he has a drinking problem. Because why wouldn't he, if this is for a Gilead graduation, for example, why wouldn't he have gotten someone else to do it for him? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Secondly, it's a strange thing to buy expensive alcohol for people. I mean, even the Watchtower would counsel you, because we have had many Watchtower magazines that have talked about weddings and alcohol at weddings. And they've basically said that when you serve alcohol at a wedding, you are responsible for it. It's one thing to give a gift of alcohol to a friend where you know that person is not an alcoholic. But to arbitrarily give out a lot of alcohol to people that you really don't know, which would be the case here, you don't know if they have a problem with alcohol. They're not really good friends of yours for you to know that. So for you to present them with alcohol isn't really a great idea, is it? Especially from the organization's point of view. I'm trying to say what they would tell you. So just arbitrarily giving it would not be a good idea. And why such expensive alcohol? They call themselves a charity. The money they have is given to them from hardworking witnesses that don't make a lot of money already. They're already struggling to make ends meet because they're being told that education beyond high school is not a good thing. So they're not going to get the higher paying jobs. So they are trying to eke out a living doing manual labor, and their hard-earned money that they think is being used, for Christian activities. They're being told that all donations are used for the worldwide work. And then you learn that there's a $35 million sexual abuse lawsuit that they just lost. And then you hear about all the other horrors that are going on within the organization involving cover-ups and so forth. And then you see this. It doesn't make you feel too good. You got to wonder. I mean, I used to work for the government, and for many years I worked for the government, and we used to have these quarterly meetings. So 4 times a year we'd get together in a fancy hotel. It would always be one of the nicest hotels in town. We'd have a nice, beautiful, 6-course, 7-course meal for lunch, or whatever you wanted with it. And when the public found out about this, they weren't impressed because they realized that their hard-earned tax dollars are being used for these lavish occasions and unnecessary. If Tony Morris really wanted to give people scotch, why couldn't he have given bottles of scotch that were a lot cheaper? Or a $20 bottle of wine. Not everyone likes scotch. I don't. I don't like it. If it was given to me, I would just regift it to somebody who I know would appreciate it, who I know doesn't have a drinking problem. So the whole thing just smells weird. It's just really weird. And then to see him loading it up in his Cadillac is another thing. The organization would have a field day with this if the Pope had done this, right? You can just imagine that if the Pope was caught doing this, they would have a field day with it. They would love this kind of thing because, look what these false religions are doing with their lavish lifestyles, buying up expensive liquor and loading it up in their caddies. But what I found interesting, so I watched the Watchtower in Focus that was done on the John Cedars channel. And Mark O'Donnell said that a letter had been sent to the organization. I believe it was addressed, I can't remember specifically, but I think it was addressed specifically to the Watchtower, the governing body helper to Tony Morris. And they explained what was caught on video and how it's all over the internet. And what this person wrote back was disturbing to me. They basically said that we're supposed to give him the benefit of the doubt. That, you don't know the backstory, you don't know what's going on, and that when you see these kinds of things, you should assume the best. And I agree somewhat with that. I'm a person that does like to assume the best with people. I don't like to assume the worst. But is that what the organization does? That's the part that bothers me. So I'm coming out of a guy's apartment at 7 o'clock in the morning. Would they assume the best of me?
No.
He probably was just dropping off his mail. Or, maybe he's really sick and she...
Inappropriate.
Whatever. Or she happened to have fallen asleep.
Inappropriate.
And, whatever. Would they assume
Not
the
good.
best of me? No.
No.
We already know that because it's in that exact situation is mentioned in their Shepherd the Flock Secret Elders policy book. And you don't even need a second witness to disfellowship me. If they wanted to disfellowship me, they would have grounds. Because the assumption is I'm coming out of this guy's apartment, nobody else is there, and if people are talking about it, then I'm fair game to be disfellowshipped. Simply because it looks bad. Well, this looks bad. This looks really bad. And that's the part that is like, well, why are we supposed to hypocritical, the organization is being very hypocritical here because we're supposed to just turn a blind eye to whenever they do things, give them the benefit of the doubt. They're just imperfect. They're not spirit directed, although apparently they are. Here's a case where they are spirit directed, right? So that's the part that I find, I'm not so quick to forgive and forget when I know that this same person wouldn't do the same for me. So there's a lot of things about it that just seem weird. Time will tell how the organization will deal with this. Does he have a drinking problem? I mean, for his sake, I hope not. Because you know what? He doesn't look like a bad person when he's out there in the world. When you watch the video, he doesn't look like a bad person. I don't wish bad on anybody. I just hope that they would not inflict cruelty and horrible policies on other people that ruin their lives. That's what bothers me. He's in a high position. And although they say elders and people in his position will receive double the rewards, they will also receive double the punishments when they stumble people. And I see this as a very stumbling offense. And don't forget, drunkenness is, drunkards will not inherit the kingdom. Drunkenness is an offense that you will be disfellowshipped for. We'll see what happens in this particular case. So I hope all of you are doing well. That's the latest with me. That's the latest with JW.org. There's a lot of things going on. I find it very exciting to see things unfold as more and more people wake up. And I just want to give a shout out to those of you who are waking up. I make my videos, I try to keep them upbeat. I try to keep them positive, and because that is my nature. I'm not being a phony. That is who I am. I've always tried. I was a happy Jehovah's Witness, and I'm a very happy ex-Jehovah's Witness. It's my nature to try to find the happiness in whatever I do. But I want to just take a step back and just say that I don't try to offend people with my videos. And I do feel for people who are coming out, because sometimes I forget how hard it is. And I hope I've not hurt anybody with my videos. I've been out for almost 20 years now. So I forget sometimes how hard it was at the beginning, how hurtful it is. And coming out of that organization, I mean, I really feel that my heart was broken. Because I love the organization. I love the people. I loved everything it stood for. And I was really all in. And to realize that you've been lied to and deceived deliberately, and all these things of abuse were going on right under my nose. It's just so much to get your head around. And I appreciate that people who are learning these things now, it can be very hurtful to learn the truth about it. So my heart goes out to you. And all I can say to you is that it does get better. But I do think it's important to do the research and to free your mind that this organization is no different from the Mormons, than Scientology, than any other destructive organization. There's nothing better about JW.org than any of these organizations. And one day you'll realize that. And it was the day that I realized that, everything got easier for me. The day I realized that this organization was nothing special. They don't have the truth. They're not on your side. They will throw you under the bus the second they need to. And the day I realized that was the day that my mind was now freed of them. And that's what I hope to give to others with my videos and with my activism. So that's it. Okay, I'm going to stop. So thank you all for watching. I don't know when I'm going to make another video. Obviously, I felt compelled to make this one, so who knows. Maybe I'll be spirit directed to make another video soon. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Zeb Leatherman, on behalf of my aunts, Linda and Dorlin, I strongly support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Candace Conti. I'm an abuse survivor, and I strongly support SB 360.
I'm Kathleen Conti. I'm an abuse survivor, and I strongly endorse SB 360.
My name is Stephanie Carson. I am an abuse survivor within a religious organization. I am in strong support of SB 360.
My name is Jolene Rivera. I'm a child sex abuse survivor. And I'm in strong support of SB 360.
My name is Mary Hyatt. I was sexually harassed by an elder. This is my first time speaking in public, and it's scary. And I support 360 bill. Thank you.
I remember telling a friend of mine once where I wasn't treated too well in this particular branch territory, and I said to my friend, well, it's not me they need to worry about, it's my big brother.
Bottlegate in New Jersey.
Yeah, we gotta pray for those men over there.